WCBI News at 6 starts now.
Good evening, everyone. An attorney for the family of a woman allegedly killed by a former Oxford police officer says he's conducting an independent investigation into the crime. Matthew Kinney was arrested and charged with murder in the death of Dominique Clayton. She was found shot to death in her home Sunday by her 8-year-old son. Clayton's family confirmed she had dated Kinney. Oxford fired Kinney. He is being held without bail. Clayton's family hired attorney Carlos Moore to look into the death. Kinney is being represented by attorney Tony Faris. He is encouraging people to wait for the evidence before making any judgments.
We want justice done, short and simple. And we want justice not only in the criminal arena, but if the facts warrant it, we want justice in the civil arena. That means holding the city of Oxford accountable.
Well, I certainly would encourage people to pray for the Clayton family and to give everyone time to mourn. It's traumatic for everyone involved, including my client's family.
Gotcha.
So Oxford's a wonderful city. It's a wonderful place. This is a very unfortunate situation, and we will all proceed accordingly.
Faris says he expects the case to go before the next grand jury. The man once behind a proposed billion-dollar aluminum plant in Columbus is now jailed in Louisiana. In 2015, Roger Boggs courted state and local economic developers, saying he wanted their help to build a plant to make aluminum for car bodies. The deal went south when Boggs failed to meet a series of deadlines and developers walked away. Boggs shifted his plans to Louisiana, and now he's charged with bank fraud and writing bad checks over $25,000 worth. Those charges were filed in 2017, but Boggs has been on the run until his arrest earlier this month in Mobile, Alabama. A traffic stop in Lowndes County leads investigators to a large cache of drugs. Justin Hill faces a slew of charges, including drug possession, trafficking, and intent to distribute. The Lowndes County Narcotics Task Force pulled Hill over at the intersection of Highways 45 and 82. During the stop, deputies searched the vehicle. Investigators found what they say was marijuana, powder and crack cocaine, methamphetamine, ecstasy, morphine, and promethazine, as well as a handgun and cash. The investigation led agents to a motel room where they found scales, paraphernalia, and a bulletproof vest.
For our area, we want to do the best we can do. So whether it be the smaller amount, bigger amount, or even bigger amount, any amount to us is a success, especially when you get those that are actually putting it on the streets as far as distributing it, in which this case, some of these charges will be for distribution and even trafficking.
Along with the drug charges, Hill also faces a charge of possession of a weapon by a convicted felon. A stolen vehicle ring ends with 3 men going to the Lowndes County Jail. Eddie Lee Evans, W.C. McPherson, both of Houston, and James Moore of Pontotoc are all charged with grand larceny. Deputies were called to a Lowndes County scrapyard about some stolen vehicles. At least 4 were either stolen or recovered in Lowndes County. Investigators say the trio could also face charges in another county. Bond was set at $1,500 each for the men. A Lowndes County man is ordered to serve 35 years in prison for an armed robbery and aggravated assault. Tommy DeLoach pleaded guilty to aggravated assault and armed robbery. He was facing a total of 7 counts. The charges stem from a July 2017 home invasion robbery on Tabernacle Road. Lowndes County deputies say DeLoach broke into a mobile home, shot 1 person, and hit 2 others with a bat. Law enforcement caught up with him about a week later in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Time now to turn things over to Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson. He joins us with a first look at our forecast. Keith?
Well, Joey, a summer-like day around here. Look at all these friendly clouds we had. This is our Alpha Insurance Camera Network. Columbus, Tupelo, Vernon at Durham's Pharmacy, and Louisville, Mississippi. Friendly cumulus clouds. A great day, albeit warm. Still warm out there right now. 6:05. We are looking at temperatures right around 90. The heat index a little bit higher than that. Upper 60s to around 70 tonight. A little bit muggy, mainly clear with light wind. And for your Saturday, guess what? More sun, more heat, more humidity. Our forecast high about 94. Your full forecast coming up.
A North Mississippi ministry that helps people rebuild after natural disasters will open a new facility. WCBI's Allie Martin gives us a sneak peek at the building.
As last-minute landscaping was being finished, merchandise that helped support missionaries was being moved into place for a grand opening celebration.
This is God moving in a big way.
Steve Tiber is president and CEO of 8 Days of Hope. The faith-based disaster relief ministry began in 2005 when Tiber and his dad organized a trip to the Mississippi coast to help those impacted by Hurricane Katrina. Since then, the organization has coordinated relief efforts in cities and towns hit by natural disasters. More than 35,000 volunteers from all 50 states have completed more than 1 million hours of work without cost to victims of hurricanes, tornadoes, and floods. For 9 months, volunteers have helped build new headquarters for 8 Days of Hope. The 60,000 square foot facility has a conference room, kitchen, and warehouse space for equipment.
This building is 92% completed. We do have some more concrete work. Offices need furniture. But everything that you see here has been paid for from a donor who gave specifically for this project. People love to be a part of something when they see God moving.
8 Days of Hope will have its administrative offices at the headquarters and training center, and there's also office space available for brand new ministries and nonprofits. Initially, the space is available at no charge.
We want this building to be an incubator, not for just future leaders and arms of the ministry of 8 Days of Hope, but other ministries as well.
Chris Childs heads the ministry's rapid response team, which is on site 48 to 72 hours after disaster strikes. He also oversaw construction of the new headquarters and says there's one main reason for the ministry's growth.
Our only purpose is to share the love of Jesus. We use disaster relief and cleanup as our foot in the door so we can help people.
The ministry will soon start building safe houses for victims of sex trafficking across the United States. Allie Martin, WCBI News.
The grand opening will be Saturday at 10. They say a picture's worth 1,000 words. When we come back, we meet a man speaking volumes. Welcome back. Kendrell Daniels is a man of few words, but what he puts down on canvas speaks volumes. The teen gained national recognition after painting a picture for former MSU and current Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott. Our Quentin Smith catches up with Daniels and joins us live in the studio with his story. Quentin?
Joey, Kendrell has a style of his own, from what he puts on canvas to how he gets it there. He's taken what some consider a disability and is now using it to his advantage. See, Kendrell was born without arms, so he paints using his feet. Now he's defying the odds and serving as inspiration to many people all across the world. Every brushstroke is free-flowing. Every detail is fluid, and every painting is flawless. When Kendrell Daniels paints a picture, he paints with a purpose.
I get to express myself, because I don't really talk much, so I don't really get out and do stuff. So
his canvas allows him to be himself.
Some stuff ain't have to be perfect, just put what you feel.
All artists have their own perspective, but Kendrell has his own technique. See, instead of using his hands, he uses his feet.
I don't really look at it like I have a disability. I just do it.
Kendrell first developed his passion for painting at Mississippi State's T.K. Martin Center. However, he admits it wasn't love at first sight.
Yeah, when I first came, really didn't. It looked hard, and I kind of didn't like it, but when I started coming back, I loved it.
The 19-year-old says he enjoys painting motivational quotes, animals, and anything sports-related. Through his artwork, Kendrell has now developed a close relationship with NFL quarterback Dak Prescott. In fact, it was Kendrell's artwork that inspired a pair of cleats that Prescott wore this past season.
For one Saturday shoot I did, like, for a varsity sprint, and I did the colon cancer sign for, cause his mom died of colon cancer, I believe. Yeah, and the other shoe was all the names of other painters that paint here.
The quiet, soft-spoken Kemper County native has now blossomed into an inspirational figure. He says he'll continue to use his artwork, his story, and his perseverance to serve as motivation for people all across the world.
A lot of people walk up to me and tell me they know me, and they ask for my paintings on my social media and stuff like that. People tell me I inspire them. Some people do need motivation. I do, it's motivation me for people to say I inspire them, so kind of go both ways.
Now, Prescott and Kendrell have since developed a close friendship through his artwork. In fact, he was even invited as a guest for a few football games this past season. The 19-year-old is a sophomore at East Mississippi Community College, but from there he wants to attend MSU and major in graphic design.
Well, the sky just looks warm and humid. It's a typical summer day, and we're into that season now. It's very warm right now. We're at around 90. Warmer yet for the weekend. We'll talk about it next.
Your WCBI First Alert AccuWeather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
Traffic backed up here in Gulfport, but the weather is very nice down there. That's our MDOT camera. And down at the beach this weekend, things are looking great. Let's fly down to Destin, right around 90, a little bit of a breeze off the water. So not bad right along the shoreline, but you get inland a little bit, it's going to be even hotter than that. Winds about 5 to 10. So the water temperature, upper 70s to low 80s here right along the Gulf Coast of Mississippi and Alabama and parts of northwest Florida. So not as hot as it will be later on in the season, but still pretty decent compared to the air temperatures that will be developing around here. Let's talk about our weekend around our neck of the woods for your Saturday here. About 94 degrees, that's a pretty good bet. As we get into your Sunday, probably a little bit warmer, mid-90s, about 95 or so, maybe some new records here. And as we get into Monday, still well into the 90s in most spots, all because of this big ridge of high pressure. It's going to be even hotter down here in the Alabama and parts of Georgia, northern Florida. So widespread records possible just to our southeast. Rain chances basically 0 through Tuesday. Now, speaking of rain, here's a stat that's going to blow your mind. If it never rained again, we would still be above normal here through August 26th in Columbus, September 14th in Tupelo, Starkville October 9th, because it has been so wet this year. So we could go without rain for several more months, the entire summer, and still be above average. It's crazy. But we will eventually get some rain. They're getting it out here in the form of heavy rain and storms here in the high plains again. That's where the rough weather is going to be all weekend long. Temperatures still warm across the region, 80s and 90s. The heat index still very warm as well. So you know it's hot. It's going to stay hot and humid all weekend long. Tonight will eventually cool down briefly into the upper 60s to around 70, then skyrocket again back into the 90-degree range probably by noon, and then into the 94 range by mid-afternoon. The heat index mid to upper 90s once again. Winds light at about 4 to 8. So here's the region tomorrow. Widespread 90s, very hot. Montgomery 98, Macon, Georgia 98, Tallahassee flirting with 100. So the hottest air is actually going to be just to our southeast this weekend. We will be warm or hot, but it's going to be flirting with the century mark just off to our southeast. So Futurecast basically sums it up here. High pressure and firm control. No major system coming our way for a while. So let's just go right to your 7-day. You can see hot and dry through Tuesday, well into the 90s, lows around 70. A slight chance for a little bit of rain returning to the region by Wednesday.
Ole Miss athletics being forged to make a huge change to the department's personnel. More information on the loss coming up next in sports.
WCBI Sports with Courtney Robb is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Go further.
Well, Ole Miss continues to find wins over in Hoover, but the Rebels taking a surprising loss. Ole Miss confirms the departure of athletic director Ross Bjork to Texas A&M as Bjork has agreed to become the Aggies' new AD. First reported by Ben Baby of the Dallas Morning News Thursday evening, Bjork will take over the same role Scott Woodard had for 3 years before he left College Station to go to fellow SEC West foe LSU. Bjork has been with the Rebels since 2012, leading the athletic department through turbulent years such as Hugh Freeze's departure and the NCAA sanctions. The university has yet to name any potential temporary or a permanent replacement. And Ole Miss and Arkansas in an elimination game this afternoon for the SEC tournament. The Rebels with the 8th inning comeback to get the win 3-2 over the Hogs. Ole Miss survives to advance on the semifinals and will play Georgia on Saturday at noon. We'll have those highlights for you coming up later tonight at 10. And after a 17-inning battle against LSU Wednesday, Mississippi State forced to get right back to action late Thursday evening against not just one of the best teams in the SEC, but in the country as well. So let's head over to Hoover, Alabama for a matchup between the Bulldogs and the Commodores. Bottom of the second, Ethan Small on the mound gets his first strikeout of the evening over Pat DeMarco and certainly will not be his last. Later in that same inning, Julian Infante with an RBI single into left field. State unable to get there in time. Vandy going to bring home a run, and the Doors are leading the Dogs 1-0. We head to the top of the 5th inning. Luke Hancock up to bat for MSU. He's able to knock one right up the middle. That will be a base hit. And then the next batter, Marshall Gilbert at the plate. He smacks one out to short for a single. Hancock advances to second off the play, but Vandy's Fellows comes in clutch with 2 outs, strikes out Rowdy Jordan looking, and gets the Doors out of a jam in the 5th. And then the bottom of the 6th inning, Ethan Small back at it again, gets another strikeout, finishing with 11 for the evening. It'd be a pitcher's duel through and through, but the Bulldogs can't hang on. Vandy wins 1-0, and Chris Lamonis explains how one of the country's best offenses only finished with 9 hits after the game.
You just got to realize we're facing a lot of power arms, too. I mean, their guy was really good tonight, and then they come out of the bullpen with some really good power arms, and we faced power arms at the end of last night's game. So little frustration maybe out of the offense, but they're competing. I thought we did a great job with the strike zone. We got him out in the 6th, but just not getting that big hit right now. Not even a hit, just when we get runners in scoring position to put a good ball in play. Right now we're not. We're giving up some easy outs right there with the strikeout or maybe some soft contact, just to have a little bit better AB.
Well, with the conclusion of the Arkansas and Ole Miss game, that means that Mississippi State will be next up on the diamond, looking to survive and advance, playing LSU for the second time. That game starting around 6:20, 6:30. You can go and watch that on the SEC Network, and game permitting, as long as it doesn't go to 17 innings again, then we'll have those highlights for you tonight on WCBI News at 10. That's it for sports. The last look at your weather is going to be after the break. Stay with us.
Posed this question last night: what's hotter, your barbecue grill or the air temperature this weekend? Hopefully the grill. Yeah. Because we still need to cook those burgers, but it's still going to be plenty hot as you are standing by the grill.
You're going to definitely need a cool drink, a fan, something out there, because it's going to be warm.
Stay hydrated, stay cool, whatever you got to do.
There you go. All right, thanks for joining us, everyone. Have a good night.